Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson is an American astrophysicist who is commonly thought to be one of the biggest popularizers of science in the modern era. He's a published author with several best-selling books under his belt. Dr. Tyson frequently appears on television and radio shows. He's the director of the Hayden Planetarium in New York, and he was even voted sexiest astrophysicist alive by People magazine in 2000.
Dr. Tyson was born and raised in New York City. His interest in science bloomed early in his life when he took a school trip to the Hayden Planetarium, where he would go on to take astronomy courses and give small lectures in his teen years. After graduating from the Bronx High School of Science, Tyson went to Harvard University to complete a bachelor's in physics. He went on to earn a master's of arts in astronomy. Next, Tyson earned a master's and then doctorate in astrophysics from Columbia University in 1999. He became the director of the Hayden Planetarium in 1996, the very place that sparked his love for science. During his years at university, Neil was met with a question that would continue in his mind for several years. While studying, Neil was so busy he hadn't taken into consideration his place in the civil rights movement, a movement that was a large part of the African American community.
Cheers for me for a second.
Sure.
You had a friend that said something to you, you were on a wrestling team together, and it called into question to you whether you becoming an astrophysicist was the best thing you could do for the African American community. Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, sure.
What was the conversation?
He's a fellow wrestler of mine. He's also black. He asked, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm working hard. I hardly have time to go to the bathroom." He said, "What are you majoring in?" I said, "Physics." "And what do you want to do in life?" I said, "Astrophysics." And then he judged in that moment that the black community doesn't have the luxury of someone with my talents to be devoted to something as esoteric as astrophysics. Meanwhile, he was studying economics and enterprise zones, and he actually would win a Rhodes Fellowship. And so that was a heavy burden he put on me, because I was studying what I loved. I was not studying what other people wanted me to. I was not fulfilling what other people thought I should do. I was doing what I loved. My father was active in the civil rights movement. My mother went back to school, became a gerontologist. These are caring people. And here's their son, the astrophysicist. That's a little odd.
Yeah.
I carried this sort of albatross around my neck for at least 10 years. And it wasn't, I didn't shed this until, it was a little bit of a guilt.
Yeah.
A little bit of a guilt trip. I didn't shed this until I saw myself on television.
Not many African Americans were pursuing astrophysics, and Neil was beginning to feel the pressure of devoting his life to what he loved. However, once he saw the impact that he was making in people's lives, and how when attending interviews there wasn't a big emphasis made on his skin color, he felt he had made the right choice. Tyson even may have created an impact in the civil rights movement with astrophysics, as many aspiring minds of young African Americans looked up to Neil, and they saw the path he was paving for them in a field where they are underrepresented. Dr. Tyson's main mission as a figure in science is to spread the word of science literacy and why it matters.
We can do to increase our scientific literacy?
I'll answer two-pronged. One is, what do you do with your kids? And kids need to be able to explore freely. And if you look at most households, they're not designed for that. They're designed to have the kid not explore. The kid comes into your kitchen and pulls out the pots and pans and starts banging on. What's the first thing you do as a parent? Stop that, you're getting the dishes dirty. Yet these are experiments in acoustics. That's what that is. Okay? Whatever the kid is doing, if it has the chance of breaking something, you're going to tell them to not do it, without thinking that that's the consequence of an experiment that they are conducting. And every time the kid wants to do something, provided it doesn't kill them, it's an experiment. Let it run its course, even if it makes something messy. You agreed to have a kid in the first place? Fine, clean up after them. And when it open up...
And wants people to become the wonders they were as a child. That curiosity to ask why something works, or what does this mean, is lost as we age. This isn't good, because that urge to explore is what drives innovation and progression. That's what drives the world. Tyson feels like we need more young minds doing their own experiments and exploring the world around them. Neil deGrasse Tyson is an amazing scientist, but I believe he's an even better teacher. He is unbiased to whether you are interested in science or not. He only cares if you are scientifically literate. This curiosity to question the things around you and see what works and what doesn't is what Neil wants to invoke onto every mind he can reach. Because no matter what field you go into, you need to have this curiosity because that's what drives progress. There are still too many people who haven't heard of Neil and his teachings, but I believe could benefit from it deeply.